Hi, dear students. Welcome to my class. So, we had already started a new chapter called the solid state, and I've already given an introduction for that chapter that is in the previous video. So, today we'll discuss the topic amorphous and crystalline solids, and this topic is very, very important. Okay, so on the basis of the nature of order present in the arrangement of their constituent particles, solids are classified into two. Okay, so solids, they are mainly classified into two based on the arrangement of their constituent particles. Constituent particles means atoms, ions, or molecules. That is any particle in which that solid is made up of. Okay, so based on its arrangement, solid is classified into two. So they are crystalline and amorphous solids. So based on the arrangement of the constituent particles, solids are mainly divided into two categories. They are crystalline and amorphous solids. So in this video we'll be mainly discussing about the difference between the crystalline and amorphous solids. Okay, now a crystalline solid, it consists of large number of small crystals, each of them having a definite characteristic geometrical shape. That is, when you consider a crystalline solid, for example, if you take a crystalline solid that is NaCl, sodium chloride, that is table salt. Okay, so when you consider that example, what happens is, when you consider that crystalline solid, when you take a crystal, okay, or if you consider that solid as a whole, there will be small crystals inside that solid. Okay, small crystals will be present inside that solid, and they will have a definite characteristic geometrical shape. That is, all the crystals will have a particular shape. Okay, now if you consider one crystal from that, okay, when you take one crystal from that, their arrangement in that the arrangement of constituent particles will be ordered. That is, their constituent particles will be arranged in an order, in a particular order. Okay, now if you take an example, okay, so this is the example of a quartz. So quartz is a crystalline solid. That is, if you consider quartz, in that small crystals will be present. Inside that crystal, the constituent particles will be arranged in an order. Okay, so mainly you have to remember that for crystalline solids, the arrangement of the particles is ordered. Constituent particles are arranged in a particular order. That is crystalline solids. Okay, now you can see here, it is just an image of crystalline solids. That is, you can see that particles, they are arranged in an order, particular order. Okay, there won't be any disorder in that. It will be like in a perfect shape. Okay, so those solids are called as crystalline solids, and these crystalline solids, they are of long range order. Okay, long range order means that their regular pattern, you can see here there is a regular pattern for the arrangement of particles, isn't it? So that regular pattern for the arrangement of particles, it will repeat itself. That same pattern will repeat periodically over the entire crystal. That is, the same pattern will be keep on repeating to give that entire crystal. So it is a long range order. For a long range, the arrangement of particles will be ordered. Okay, so it is a long range order. So remember, crystalline solids, they have a ordered arrangement, and it is of long range order. That is, for a long range, that is for the entire crystal, the arrangement is same. That is, for long range, there is a periodic or a perfect pattern maintained. Okay, next, this is an example for crystalline solid, that is sodium chloride, NaCl, that is table salt. So you have to remember two examples, that is quartz and NaCl, mainly for crystalline solids. Okay, now we'll discuss amorphous solid. Okay, amorphous solid, it consists of particles of irregular shape. Okay, so amorphous solids, the arrangement of particles is of irregular shape. There is no particular shape for amorphous solids. Their particles, as you can see in the image, okay, as you can see in the image, their particles are of disordered. That is, there is no particular arrangement, and there is no pattern for the arrangement also. It's like what is it, just it's like scattered actually. There is no particular pattern for their arrangement. And this amorphous solid is of short range order. That is, if at all there is a pattern, it is only for a small distance or for only a short range. Okay, after that, or the in between that only, there will be disorderedness, or it will be like scattered. That is, if there is a regular and a periodically repeating pattern observed, then it will be only for a short distance. Okay, so such portions, they are like scattered, and in between the arrangement it is disordered. Okay, so you can see the image here. This is of amorphous solid. You can see there is no particular pattern or particular arrangement for amorphous solids, while in crystalline there is a particular pattern for the arrangement of the constituent particles. Here there is no particular pattern, it is like scattered. Okay, and if at all there is a particular pattern, it is only for a short distance, so they are called as so they are short range order. Okay, now these are the examples of amorphous solids, that is glass, which you can see, then rubber, it is another example, and then plastics. Okay, so glass, rubber and plastics are the examples for amorphous solids. And for crystalline, it was quartz and sodium chloride mainly. At least some one or two you have to remember, one or two examples you have to remember. Okay, so these are the examples for amorphous. Now this is a comparison of crystalline and amorphous solids. You can see the difference in their arrangement. In crystalline, it is very ordered arrangement. That is, their constituent particles, that is atoms, ions or molecules, anything if you take, they are orderly arranged. In amorphous, it is like disordered. So this is the main difference between crystalline and amorphous solids. Now since their arrangement of the constituent particles, it is different, these two types of solids, they differ in their properties also. Okay, so we'll discuss the difference in the properties of crystalline amorphous solids next. Okay, now you can see the difference between crystalline and amorphous solids. So crystalline, you can see what we have already discussed, that is, it has a definite characteristic geometrical shape. That is, it has a particular pattern for arrangement, or it has a definite shape. Okay, that is a particular shape. And amorphous solids, you can see that it has a irregular shape. Okay, so that is the first difference between the crystalline and amorphous solids, and this table is very, very important. Okay, so you have to learn at least 4 differences between crystalline and amorphous solids. So the first difference is, they have crystalline solids, they have a definite geometrical shape. Amorphous solids, they have irregular shape. So you can see in the image that crystalline solids and amorphous solids, they have crystalline solids, they have a particular characteristic geometrical shape, while amorphous solids, it is having a irregular shape. So that is the first difference. Then the second one is, it melt at a sharp and characteristic temperature, and the amorphous solids, they gradually soften over a range of temperature. That is, crystalline solids, it is like at a particular temperature, that say for example at 100 degrees Celsius, or at 101 degrees Celsius, or at 60 degrees Celsius, like that, at a particular sharp temperature it will melt. It is not like a range. Okay, so it is like a particular value, that is a correct sharp value. At that value it will melt. Okay, so that is called as, that is the what is property of crystalline solid, that is, it melt at a sharp and a characteristic temperature. Now if you consider amorphous solids, they gradually soften over a range of temperature. Over a range of temperature means it is from 50 degrees Celsius to 60 degrees Celsius, that is in a range. Okay, so over that range it will get softened, and what happens is, after getting softened, it can be molded and blown into various shapes. You can make it into different shapes. Okay, now when you heat that, okay, on heating, what happens is they'll become crystalline at some temperature. That is, these amorphous solids on heating at some temperature, they will become crystalline. Okay, now some glass objects, that is from ancient civilization, it is found to become milky. Okay, it is found to become milky in appearance because of some crystallization. Okay, so this is just an image of that. So that is the difference. Now the next difference is, when cut with a sharp edged tool, they split into two pieces and the newly generated surfaces are plain and smooth. That is, when you take a crystalline solid and when you cut it into two pieces, what happens is the newly formed pieces, it will be very plain and smooth. But in the case of amorphous solids, these newly formed pieces, it will be of irregular surfaces. Okay, so that is another difference. Now these crystalline solids, they have a definite and characteristic enthalpy of fusion, and these amorphous solids, they do not have a definite enthalpy of fusion. So these enthalpy of fusion and all we have already discussed. Now the next difference is, this crystalline, they are anisotropic in nature, and amorphous, they are isotropic in nature. Now what do you mean by anisotropic and isotropic in nature? That is, first we'll discuss for crystalline. Okay, so this is a crystalline solid. Now you can see three arrow marks there. Okay, that is yellow color, green color and red color. So what do you mean by, you can say, what do you mean by anisotropic in nature? Means what happens is, some physical properties. Okay, when you consider any solid, it will be having some physical properties, right? Stress, strain, then refractive index, resistance, like that, many electrical resistance, like that, many physical properties it will have. Okay, now if you consider a crystalline solid, and if you measure its physical properties, that is some of their physical properties. Okay, if you measure some of its physical properties, like say for example refractive index or electrical resistance, anything. Okay, so you are taking a crystalline solid and you are going to measure the refractive index of that or the electrical resistance, anything, any kind of physical property. Okay, so what happens is, when you measure it, when you measure that physical property in different directions, the values which you get will be different. For the same crystal, when you measure in different directions, the values which you get will be different. That is, when you measure from top to bottom, like that green arrow mark, when you measure it from top to bottom, the value, you will get a particular value, say for example A. Okay, now when you measure from this left to right, that is yellow arrow mark, you will get another value. And when you measure it like corner to corner, that is a red color arrow mark, it will be of another value. So when you measure in different directions, the values of these physical properties is of different, it will be different values. Okay, now if you consider amorphous solid, okay, amorphous solid, same, you have three directions, that is, you are measuring from top to bottom, then left to right, and again from corners, that is green, yellow and red. What happens is, when you measure that same physical properties for an amorphous solid, you will get the same values, but in crystalline the values will be different. So that is why it is called as anisotropic and isotropic. Okay, now what is the reason, why is it different for crystalline and same for amorphous? Is that, so you can see here, when you measure a physical property, so this is a crystalline solid. Okay, you can see it is an ordered arrangement. So when you measure a physical property from A to B, okay, so you are measuring it from A to, this is the line A to B. Okay, now consider only right side. Okay, you can see here, along this direction, you can see only that this red color balls are present. Okay, just a general view I'm saying. So when you consider this right side, only that red color balls are present, or if you consider only left side, only that blue color balls are present along that direction. Okay, you can see, so I'm considering only right side. Okay, so here you can see only red color balls are present, that is from A to B. Now if you consider from C to D, that is along this direction, okay, C to D, when you consider along that direction, if you measure, you can see when you take right side, it is red, then blue, red, blue, then red, blue, red. So you can see here, when you take the direction from A to B, it is only red color balls. From C to D, it is red, blue, both the particles have come. Okay, now instead of this, if you consider sodium chloride, that is they are having ions, that is Na plus and Cl minus. So this red color, if you consider as Na plus, okay, red if you take it as Na plus, and this blue if you take it as Cl minus, okay, you can see from A to B, it is only Na plus, Na plus, Na plus along one direction. Okay, now from C to D, it is Na plus and Cl minus, Na plus and Cl minus. So that arrangement is different along each direction. When you take any, if you take any direction, that arrangement will be different. Okay, so from top to bottom, left to right, and along corners, that arrangement will be different. So when you measure the physical properties along different direction, their values will be different because their particles is arranged differently there in that direction. Now if you take amorphous solid, if you take an amorphous solid, since they are having an disordered arrangement, any direction if you take, that particles will be like scattered. Okay, so any direction if you take, it will be like not Na plus, A B A B A B. Okay, so you won't get a ordered arrangement there. So any direction if you take, the arrangement will be like same. Okay, here the arrangement is different. So here that is why it is called as anisotropic, and their values is different in each direction. In amorphous solids, they are having an order, like not ordered arrangement, they are having a uh, uh, in particular direction if you take, they are having same kind of arrangement. So it is isotropic in nature, that is they are having same values for physical properties. So that is another difference. Now then another difference is crystalline solids, they are true solids, perfect solids, but these amorphous solids, they are called as pseudo solids or supercooled liquids. Okay, they are pseudo solids or they are called as supercooled liquid. It is because these amorphous solids, they have a tendency to flow, though it is very slowly, that is it will take a long time, that is maybe many years to flow, but still these amorphous solids, they have a tendency to flow, so they are called as supercooled liquids. Okay, example if you take, okay, example, some windows like glass panes of some windows or doors of old buildings, if you consider, what happens is, if you have observed, once the time when it is installed, it will be like perfect same length, like same width. Okay, so after some years if you take, you can see in the image, after 100 years, what happens is that bottom part, it will be like little thicker, that glass bottom part will be like little thicker, and that top part will be like little thinner. So what is happening is, actually it is flowing, that glass is flowing down over years. So that is why this amorphous solids, they are called as supercooled liquid, and this glass is an example of amorphous solid. So that is another example, like another property. Next, this crystalline solids, they are long range order, we have already discussed that, and amorphous solids, they are only short range order. Okay, so that is the difference. So this is an example of amorphous solids, that is amorphous silicon. It is used as a photovoltaic material, and it is available for the conversion of sunlight into electricity. That is, this amorphous silicon, what it does is, it will convert the sunlight into electricity. So it is used as a photovoltaic material. So that is an application of amorphous solids. So this is all about amorphous and crystalline solids. So you have to learn any four difference of amorphous and crystalline solids, and this topic is very important. Thank you.